as you said rightly, when you go to a stadium for the first time for a team that you're supporting, it's so just an experience that you just can't describe in words. It's
Right.
overwhelming. It's flabbergasting. I don't have those big words right now, but your mind stops working for a while.
Hello everyone, this is Tanmay, Man City fan from India, currently a member of Man City Mumbai Supporters Club, and I welcome you to the first episode of Fan Club India, where I'll talk to passionate football fans from our country. We'll talk about their love for this beautiful sport, their passion towards their club, their stories, and we'll have some fun activities. So today we have two special guests from the club I support, from the city I currently live in. I'd like to welcome Shreyas Sangvi and Janil Mehtalia, who is the founder of Man City Mumbai Supporters Club. So, Janil Bhai, Shreyas Bhai, welcome to the show.
Thanks,
Thanks,
bro.
Tanmay.
Pleasure to be here.
Yep, it's great to be here. How are you doing?
Uh, Great, great, great. By the way, Janil Bhai is joining us from Chicago, and because there is a huge time difference, he had to wake up early. So, I guess Janil Bhai, you are like okay right now, and you are not feeling sleepy.
Yeah, no problems. Coffee is life.
Oh, great, 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 great. So, before we start, like I'll
But though,
first.
maybe I'm maybe I don't know, I may be feeling a bit sleepy. मैं भी थोड़ा US time zone में ही चल रहा है lockdown थोड़ा.
Okay, true that, true that. So, but first, before starting, I'll say that I hope you guys and your family and everyone out there are okay. This global pandemic situation. Like, I hope, like, guys, take care, stay safe, and take the precautions, guys. So, before we start this talk show, I want to ask you one basic question. It is very simple as well as very difficult. Simple because we all know answer to it, but difficult because it is very hard to describe in words. So I'll leave that up to you guys. So please tell me, what does football mean to you? Cheers, bhai.
फुटबॉल यार, इट्स जस्ट अनदर स्पोर्ट. मैं तो क्रिकेट फैन हूँ बहुत बड़ा. दिन भर क्रिकेट ही देखता हूँ. और फुटबॉल मुझे पता ही नहीं है क्या हो रहा है. मुझे बस ऐसा कुछ वर्ल्ड कप कभी कभी देख लेते हैं, ब्राजील रोनाल्डो. So this was, yeah, so this was basically me probably 10 years ago, 10
Oh,
12 years ago.
okay,
So
okay.
फिर थोड़े बड़े हुए, थोड़े ज्यादा, मतलब फिर
Brain आया,
रियलाइजेशन
दिमाग
हुए
आया.
कि ये तो दिमाग आया. फिर लगा कि यार ये क्रिकेट तो इंडिया के बाहर कहीं ज्यादा हो भी नहीं रहा है, और बोर हो गए देख देख के. फिर सचिन भाई रिटायर हो गए, फिर
That
द्रविड़,
was the end
सचिन,
of it,
गांगुली
right?
सब रिटायर हो गए. तो फिर कोई पॉइंट लगा नहीं. वर्ल्ड कप भी जीत लिया था, तो और क्या ही अचीव करना है. तो फिर दैट वाज द टाइम 2010-11 के टाइम पे थोड़ा थोड़ा फुटबॉल में इंटरेस्ट आया. फिर कॉलेज में जाके इट जस्ट बिकेम एवरीथिंग. सो माय
Great.
कॉलेज शेड्यूल वाज लाइक, एक बार वैसा होता है ना, मतलब आई वाज सॉर्ट ऑफ एडिक्टेड टू फुटबॉल, सो इट मेंट एवरीथिंग टू मी. I used to watch football. I used to play FIFA all the time. I used to play football like twice a day. So it became
Wow,
that, from like nothing to that.
great, great. What about you, Janil bhai?
So my story is kind of similar to Shreyas. So what happened is, even I was a huge cricket fan. I still am. I still follow the sport. I still watch some of the matches and all. But what happened was, after school, once I went to college, so junior college, that's when I started meeting a different group of people who used to follow a lot of football, and they were all different kinds of club fans. Like, most of them were United fans, then there were Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans. So all different group of people. Every day, all day, they keep discussing about what happened in the previous game or what happened yesterday, what happened in the Champions League. And I literally did not understand the four competitions that Premier League clubs have to
Right,
go through.
right, right.
So I did not have any knowledge about that. But then I started. So they told me that start watching Champions League games first, because all the top clubs are there. There are no boring games. You can,
Right.
high level games. तो मैंने भी वैसे ही स्टार्ट किया. चैंपियंस लीग के गेम्स देखने शुरू किए some 10 years back or something.
Great, great.
Semi-finals, finals, ऐसा सब पहले देखा मैंने. And तभी थोड़ा बहुत इंटरेस्ट आने लगा. obviously जो normal players थे, मतलब normal in the sense the good players like Messi, Ronaldo,
Right.
Ibrahimovic, ये सब के नाम
Yeah.
मैंने सुने हुए थे, but हर टीम के playing squads, playing 11 ये सब मुझे नहीं पता था. So just to get in the groove of getting into discussion, वो fear of missing out होता है ना, FOMO, बस ऐसा कुछ हो
Oh.
गया था वो टाइम पे मुझे.
Okay.
तो
Okay.
तभी मैंने स्टार्ट किया एंड देन द 11-12 क्रेजी सिटी सीजन जो हुई,
The Aguero goal.
बस फिर
Like.
I think if someone started watching football in 2011-12, that is the first season they follow Premier League, it is difficult that they support any other club, because
Correct. Correct.
what happened, that was just, once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen again.
That's like perfect answer. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good answer. Like. So, Shreyas bhai, I'll come to you. So, like, we all are City fans. So, like, how, when, and where did this? You thought the idea of there should be a supporters club in Mumbai? Like, I want to know the history. Like, how do you guys met? How many people were there in first pairing? Where was the first pairing? Like, how it all started?
So I think I came to Bombay in 2014, 2015. Before that, I was in college. So जब मैं बॉम्बे आया तो I was of course very intrigued कि at least this is a big city. There must be some Man City fans here. क्योंकि
Yeah.
मेरे होम टाउन में या फिर कॉलेज में we were just two of us across all 4 years. That was always very intriguing. And back then, I was already connected to a lot of fans across India through Facebook groups, etc. So I think that's where perhaps Janil and we knew each other as well. We were part of a Man City India supporters club. India में
Oh
कुछ 100
wow.
fans होंगे उस group में
Oh
at that
wow.
time.
Great.
And luckily 8-10 of us were from Bombay, and in 2015 I think Man City tried to do something in Bombay, so they approached us and they wanted us to be a part of that small video. It's still on YouTube.
Oh. Yeah.
So before that we've never watched a game together ever. So for
Wow.
that particular, I think it was a City Liverpool game in 2015, wherein we some of us, like 10 of us, came together, and still there was no supporters club or any group at all. After that, we thought ki at least we know 10 people, so let's start a WhatsApp group, because WhatsApp is a more efficient form of communication and everything. So things started
Right.
picking up then. And I think after that, when Janil came up with this sort of news or update ki there is a City versus Spurs screening happening at
Oh
one of
wow.
our home pubs. So we used to, it became our home later. So that was the first ever screening that perhaps 20 of us went to, and it
Wow.
was a great experience. I think we lost the game though, but it was a great experience and something we've never had before. So उसके बाद then I think things started speeding up fast, thick and fast, and we start getting more members references के through word of mouth से किसी का कोई friend है ऐसे कर करके. I think we were about 50-60 of us, and then Janil I think again sort of had a very good outreach to everyone in India, and by then there were three official supporters clubs. We were I
Okay.
think the fourth one. So he approached the club, and then we did everything that was necessary, and it was like a breakthrough moment for us. I think Janil can perhaps tell you better.
Yeah, so to add to some of the details, I guess Shreyas described the timeline very perfectly. But to just to add some details to it from my side, um, he mentioned the City versus Tottenham screening, which was the first one for us. So how that came into fruition is in my college, my undergrad college, there was this guy who was a part of the Spurs supporters club. He
Oh.
was my classmate. He was a part of the Spurs supporters club. First of all, I was shocked that there's a Spurs fan. Then I was, I mean, with all due respect,
Yeah, yeah.
I
We
respect
get the
that guy. I respect the
we get the same response from people that there are City fans in India also.
exactly. And then I was a bit surprised that there's a Spurs supporters club as well, and they meet. So, I became a very good friend of that guy. I wanted to take the ideas. How did he start the supporters club? How they managed to get the screenings and everything done. So it was very, motivating kind of for me, because they were just 12 people or 15 people, Spurs fans, and they used to meet for every game. They used to watch the matches together. They did not do joint screenings, of course, because 10 people versus if you go to United Supporters Club,
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
are like 200, if you go to
right.
Liverpool, they are like 300. So it's difficult. So what I did is I spoke with them. I'm like, we have a match, City versus Spurs, coming up. Let's do a joint screening. I probably have around 10 to 12 people, like Shreyas mentioned, the first core 10, 12 members from the Mumbai Supporters Club. So I spoke with him. We decided, the Barking Deer in Lower Parel as a location. They used to give us free screenings. They had a nice, loft kind of a thing. So we met there, and it was a very good one. We lost the game, we lost that particular game, but people still kept on coming. I remember the first 4 or 5 screenings we lost all games, and it was kind of getting superstitious for some people, but people still came, and then it turned around very quick. So that was one thing. The other part is in 2015 how we became an official supporters club. So I took the help of a couple of already established supporters club in India. Kerala was one of the first ones to get
Yeah, yeah,
official, and then there was I guess Kolkata or Delhi, one of
Pune,
those.
Pune.
Pune. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Pune.
Yeah,
Right, right, right. So funny thing, the India Supporters Club, I divided that club into two groups. One was Mumbai, one was Pune on WhatsApp. So I was in the Pune Supporters Club group for a long, long time. Like I very recently, I guess a year back or something, I left that group because they now have an overflow of people. So I was
yeah,
just holding one space for someone else. So uh, they got official first. I took their help. Anand, Tanmay, all
yeah,
those
yeah.
guys, very helpful
Anand was-
guys. So I took help from them, and that's how I reached out to the club. And funny story, there was another guy from Mumbai. We hadn't heard about him. He had already reached out to the club asking for an official supporters club. So I was shocked. I was like, where is this coming from? So I got his contact somehow. I spoke with him. I was like, see, we are, by that time we were 50, 60 people already. So I said, see, we are already 50 to 60 people. You are welcome to join us, and you are welcome to any screenings. You are welcome to become the supporter as well, official supporter as well. And he was good enough to, let me take charge of the official status. So,
right.
that
Yeah,
worked
so
out pretty
he's
well.
like he's one of those guys which he was like a fan of Invisible Man. He's never really here, so we've never met him. After that, we've never seen him. We don't even know if he's a fan. I don't know where he is. But yeah, that was a crazy story, man. And I think I remember before that, I actually started like a website back then, mcfcindia.com. So
Hmm.
I put up like a form wherein I was collecting cities and phone numbers of a lot of people. So I think that's where I thought the most number of people were from Bombay. So I think WhatsApp group came into being, and then as you said, Spurs. Surprisingly, Spurs played a big role in us becoming a supporters club.
Great, great, great. So, like now, getting recognized as the official supporters club, there are too many perks, and one of them is trophy tour event, and we had two trophy tour events like back to back. So, General Bhai, how would you describe that experience, like to the fans who want to be there but couldn't be there? So, like, how would you describe that?
So, first of all, when you walk into the venue wearing a City shirt, a lot of heads will turn. A lot of people will start talking amongst themselves, and it becomes kind of crazy. They will come to you, they'll talk to you, they'll be like, "हाँ, तू तो plastic fan है," या whatever. We
Becomes
all
like
get
every
that
day,
banter
yeah,
all
right?
the time. It is every day. So that is fine. That used to happen. I went the first trophy tour. I actually went with my friend who is a Liverpool fan. So he was in his Liverpool shirt. I wore my this very
Oh,
shirt is the one that I wore, and I went to the tour, and there was Liverpool versus United live match was being telecasted there to the first of those events, the PL India events I'm talking about. So
yeah.
yeah, so that game was being telecasted, and it was City versus Chelsea, if I'm not wrong. So both the games were there. We watched both the games. It was fun. And as far as the trophy is concerned, it's like once in a lifetime opportunity. Although we got it
Right.
twice, but still, uh,
Right.
it's always good to be there. It is something like you would go there every year and it would still feel new to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not something that will become old. You will not be like, अरे यार एक बार देख लिया अब वापस देख के
Oh,
क्या करेंगे.
correct. Right.
So it's a couple of things. You get to see that precious trophy. You get to go around, meet other people, meet other supporters club. Who knows, you'd find your own club's supporters, new supporters who just they just came there because there's a huge event. You get
Yeah.
to bond with them, speak with them. Some club officials are also there, and Shreyas would be able to describe that because he has been in touch with a lot of those guest appearances and all of those. So I'll let him go into a bit more detail.
I think, as he rightly said, it's an overwhelming experience. Trophies coming down to your own city, and in fact, we have been lucky to have. So the first trophy too that we have had from Man City, there were two trophies, the cup and the league.
Yeah,
And then the second one was just crazy. We had six
yeah.
trophies
Six
coming down.
trophies. Yeah, yeah,
So it was just, I mean, just to look at that piece of silverware, not a lot of fans get to do that. So and have a picture with a legend coming over. We had Paul Dikov, and then we had Mika Richards.
yeah. Yeah,
So it's an experience that I don't think a lot of clubs do in India. Man City is one of the so they have one of the best, I would say, fan outreach when it comes to uh, caring and doing things for fans and giving things in return. So I think that's really good, and we are really lucky to have one such club who's very progressive and is one of the best when it comes to fan engagement strategies and fan engagement plans. So yeah, man, it's just amazing.
By the way, I was there in Mumbai this year in November. I guess you don't remember
Mhm.
me, but we met there, and I came as a member from Pune Supporters Club because initially I was in Pune, so I was the member of
Okay.
Pune Supporters Club, and we also had a match between Mumbai and Pune, and the Pune team won 3-1, and I give the final assist, so I get the credit for the victory.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
okay, so well, if you ask to any football fan, if you give them three wishes, the one wish will be like, I want to see my football team perform live in their home stadium. And if you ask to any Man City fan, then which game will you pick up? He'll say, 9 out of 10 will say Man United game. You want to see Man City versus Man United game at the Etihad Stadium. Shares by 2017-18
Yes,
season,
sir.
you got to you got the opportunity to go to Manchester Etihad Stadium. Man City versus United. City
Yep.
won 3-1. Come on, man, express that. Like, tell us more about it.
Oh man, it was November 2018 and 10th of November. It was before that, I would just want to say that I had been to a live match before that, and I was there for the 2018, I think 2018 trophy lift game, 17-18 ka jo last game at
Yeah,
home,
Huddersfield.
where we lifted the trophy, Huddersfield
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
a 0-0 draw, but it was a crazy experience. And of course, when as you said rightly, when you go to a stadium for the first time for a team that you're supporting, it's so just an experience that you just can't describe in words. It's
right,
overwhelming. It's flabbergasting. I don't have those big words right now, but your mind stops working for a while. And it's not just when you enter the game, it's even before that, the kind of atmosphere that builds in. I for every whenever I've gone to a game, I'd make sure I am there at least 2-3 hours before the game. The atmosphere starts building in, the crowd, the kind of fans, kids, old people who've been watching City for 40, 50 years. You get to meet
right,
them all. They're singing outside the stadium. The atmosphere is just crazy. So, and then when you enter the stadium finally, after everything, it's just you just enter. So it's very different when the route to the stadium gate, the main gate, is generally very, it's like you're walking in a warehouse or something like that, a parking slot. But when then there is suddenly a small gate and you're actually open into a completely different world. So that's when it's so much buzzing, everyone's chanting. And luckily the first game I went to, we had the trophy lift. So I'll perhaps give you a video that you can perhaps put in here
Yes, yes.
to give people a sort of an example how the atmosphere was. So there were flags in everyone's hands, and we had
Wow.
city just like on my background. We had a proper city written thing using
Eh,
flags. So
Wow,
people
wow.
had created that. It was just crazy. But
Great.
of course, it was not the greatest game to be to. So when I went there for, and after that experience, I had made a point that this is something that I want to do every year, no matter what. And not just me, I was like, what the kind of impact it had on me. I thought a lot of people should have that experience. So when I planned the next trip, the next tour, I made sure that we have everyone who has never been there before it. So we were 25 of us who went from India, and it was a derby, the biggest game perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Not so much now, given the context of the game, due to how United's been in the past 2 3 years. But
Still, it is a
of course, in
derby.
terms of the rivalry,
Yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
is the one of the fiercest rivalry in Manchester. So in perhaps in all England. So it was just crazy, man. So we had literally had goosebumps entering into the stadium that day, and the atmosphere is just crazy because there are a lot. The banter is like 10x, and we were
Right.
playing so well. We were
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
so well, and my favorite player, I had drawn a poster, and we went to the stadium with a poster of David Silva, and in like 10 15 minutes or something
Yes, he
into the
scored.
game
Yeah,
he scored.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Crazy,
I
crazy.
that moment was like, it's done for me. I could have walked out of the stadium then and just become a monk. It would have been good enough. But
Crazy.
yeah, it was that level good, and we won the game. We dominated the game. We had a crazy 44 pass goal, which Gundogan scored during the
Yeah,
end stages of the game. So it was overall uh, crazy game. And I predicted 3-1. It was actually 3-1. It's
yeah, yeah. I
recorded
saw your video. I saw.
on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
City
I saw
video.
it on YouTube, and you said before the game
So
it will be 3-1.
we
Crazy.
literally got everything that we could have asked for, that any
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
could have asked for. And being there with 25 of your own City fans together, it was just, man,
Great.
crazy, crazy, crazy.
Well, I think that the dream to watch City live could be a possibility now that CFG has agreed a like a partnership with Mumbai City FC. So, what do you think that it can have an impact on future of Indian football, like future of Mumbai City FC, and maybe we can see Man City play preseason game against Mumbai City?
Yeah, so I guess when it comes to going to countries where football is not still the main sport, or not a big thing, it is going to help the club and eventually the national football as well, because you see, they've City Football Group, they are not just messing around.
Yeah,
They are in talks with a 10th club. So it's not a small thing. The global exposure is going to be big. Um, we also saw what happened with Melbourne City FC. We they became one of the top clubs there after it was invested in by the City Football Group, and then we also got a player in the Premier League from there, Aaron Moy.
yeah,
So it is good for the players. What happens is, I'll tell you. For example, they come to Mumbai. They have already come to Mumbai City FC, and they've already got a stake in this. Now the players, they would sense an opportunity. Having seen Aaron Moy jump
yeah,
to Premier League,
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
sense an opportunity. Like, what if I do a crazy season? What if I have something which I can do some great things, and I would have a chance to go to the Premier League. So it just becomes more competitive. It just becomes better. Plus, there will be global exposure. And once, I'm pretty sure at least once we'll see Manchester City come to Mumbai to play, just a charity game or just a preseason warm up, something like that. So that will definitely happen soon as well. I guess it's going to be all good, and I'm just happy that it's Mumbai. We are from Mumbai, so
yeah.
that's a very good thing.
Okay, so
So I'm just looking forward to it.
let's give a shout out to Azhar Bhai, Azhar Damanwala, who is the chairman of Man City Mumbai Supporters Club. So if
Hmm.
City is coming to Mumbai and if you guys want tickets, so make sure you contact to Azhar Bhai. He'll definitely arrange tickets for you. Okay, so now we've talked about the good stuff that happened to us and everything. Now let's just get back to reality and just get back to the bad stuff. And it is this season. It was quite disappointing compared to the last two seasons, but it was still a decent season. Like we won the Carabao Cup, we are still in Champions League, but still we are like too many points behind Liverpool. So like, how would you describe this season? Like where we went wrong?
You want me to take that up? Perhaps.
Anyone?
I think my point of view again is it's very different. So kind of standards that we set, it's all about that. It's very difficult to keep up to those, scoring 198 points in two
Yeah,
consecutive seasons. And then third season में हमें लग रहा है कि हमने बहुत खराब किया, जबकि
still
already
it is
as
a
you said we
decent
have won
season.
the
Yeah,
Carabao
yeah,
Cup,
yeah. Exactly.
we have really good chances of getting the FA Cup and maybe just
Yeah,
maybe the Champions League. So it can be even one of the best seasons.
yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know yet. But yeah, Premier League, I think what went wrong was a couple of things, in my opinion. I think, uh, although given the depth of squad, we should not blame it on injuries, but still, we lost three key players, I would say: Laporte, Sane, and Fernandinho. Although
Yes.
Fernandinho was fit, he wasn't playing in the position he should be, and he was one of the most important players for Man City the last 2 years. So I mean, it's just crazy how big an impact or bigger role he has. So the moment he goes to centre back, I think you're losing two players, one at the
Right.
centre back and one at the CDM position. And secondly, I think I am still a huge fan of Sane, and the kind of the way he used to change games, especially in
Impact,
big games.
impact.
He was a big game player,
Yeah,
impact
this
player.
Liverpool, and
He
thank
won
you for
us.
Liverpool and United game. Like, thank you, Sane, for it.
Exactly. Yeah, man, he won us titles, in fact.
Yeah, yeah,
So missing him there, and perhaps playing Sterling on the left because he is not there. A lot of these
yeah.
things
Yes,
definitely affected us. And of course, the biggest one of them all was perhaps missing company in the dressing room. What a captain, what a presence.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think when I think it's a famous Indian political dialogue, but when a big tree falls, the ground shakes. So it was one of those moments
Correct.
for Man City this season. So
Yeah,
I still think we have done pretty good despite everything that we have been through, and hopefully we'll still win. So I'm not really disappointed with the season at all. The only thing that I am really annoyed at, or perhaps doesn't it does bother me a lot, is Liverpool doing so well. So that's a bigger worry for me right now than City doing not so well. I don't want them to at least break our records. So fingers crossed, man.
let's hope for the best. So, Janil bhai, what do you think about our chances in Champions League? Like, do you think that what can like there are so many good teams still in the competition?
Yeah, and Champions League. First of all, we managed to defeat Madrid at their own
On the
home
yeah,
ground, which no Premier League club has done in the past 11 years, if I'm not wrong. So
yes,
that's a huge feat, a huge step up to our performances. And I guess this is the best season when we can try and do it, because to be honest, EFL Cup is done. We already have it in the bag. FA Cup, yes, it's left. We are still in it. We can still win it. And the Premier League, we know it's gone. I mean, everyone knows it's gone.
yeah,
There's no point talking about the Premier League. We will be in the top four. There is no doubt about that. And there's still 10 games to go for us in the Premier League, and we are at what, 57 points.
yeah,
So 10 games, we win 8 out of them or something like that, we are still going to finish
80,
above 80 points. So,
yeah,
and anything above 80 points is a very good season. So it's not a failure if we win the EFL Cup, FA Cup. And talking about Champions League, winning it, I obviously we want that to happen. We want that to happen for Silva, because it's his last season, and probably we'll see Aguero leave in a
dream.
couple of
Yeah,
seasons as well. So they obviously deserve it. So I hope it happens. We have a great chance. We can just place some young players in the Premier League, give them a chance, and then concentrate on Champions League. I guess that would be a huge thing for us. if you just look from an outside perspective, how many games do we have left in the Champions League? How many do we have to win to get the Champions League? What, five games?
No,
Yeah, I believe.
the 6, like
Yeah,
counting the Etihad game.
6 actually.
6 games.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just 5 or 6 games. So it treat every game as a finals. It's okay
Yeah,
if we don't win the FA Cup as well. To be honest,
yeah, true.
uh, it's like Liverpool wants to win the Premier League. We want to win the Champions League. It's as simple as that. And Liverpool already have their goal in the bag. We still have to work for it. So I just hope that that thing happens. But at the end of the season, if we make it to the finals, we show up. We show up as a good team. We give a good fight to whoever the opponent is. I hope not Liverpool, but uh, we at least give a good fight. I'll be very happy with that.
Well, I guess majority of Tottenham is out, Liverpool is out, and only Chelsea is left. So we don't have an English team to face. So I guess we don't have to worry about that. Not worry about the English teams. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.